Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the presidential debate, the final debate of term. I would like to begin by thanking Chris and his team for putting on an outstanding program this term. Before I introduce the motion, there are a few things to note. We're going to begin with two paper speakers in proposition, then opposition. We will then have a round of floor speeches. We will then have another two paper speakers, a round of floor speeches, and then we'll finish with the final two paper speakers. Please be respectful to each of the speakers tonight, but most importantly, please be respectful to each other. I'm sure most of you already know the procedures by now. However, if you would like to get involved in the debate, you can do so by saying point of information or point of order, and if the speaker accepts, then you may go ahead. Moving on to the motion for tonight. The motion before the House is this House believes the time has come for radical systemic change. Opening the debate tonight, we have Christopher George. Chris is the outgoing president of the Cambridge Union. He's in his final year studying history. He's also the first person from Wolfson College to have been president of this society. Mr. George, you have the ears of the House.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Tonight is the 16th of March, 2023. 1 in 5 children born tonight will be born into poverty. Depending on where you are born, you can expect to live a decade less than your peers. You might be born to one of the 2 million people who cannot afford to eat every day, or the 17 million who do not have a stable, safe home. No child born tonight should face this. No person impeded by circumstances of birth. But more than this, no one should go hungry or cold or be in poverty because of the decisions they make. No one should be hindered by the choices of those that came before them. Whether you work or don't, housing, health, food, education, these are rights, not privileges. What I believe in, my objective, is liberty, true liberty for all. It should be in each of us to be the masters of our own fate, and that our system should enable us to do so, where we are not merely free from, but free to do. This can only be achieved through the policies of equality. As a hero of this chamber, Lord Chris Smith rightly attested in his presidential debate, liberty is meaningless without equality. Only through a system radically different from our current one can we ensure that liberty, real liberty, is a reality for all that call these isles home. A system that places people before profits, directly empowers and recognizes that it is a tide from the bottom up that can and will raise all boats. That stops treating services like businesses, rights as privileges, where a person's capacity reflects their duty to society, not an entitlement to more. That through universal basic income and inheritance, people can be directly empowered. That we need to implement a system of cooperative management between workers and employers. It requires not merely the redistribution of wealth, but the continuous redistribution of wealth across social, regional, and generational lines. For too long, we have tried to tackle the symptoms and being surprised when the problems do not go away. For too long, we have done what is easy and not what is right. The time has come for radical systemic change, for us to build a fair society, to make a Britain worthy of those that call these isles home. Before the opposition of this motion have their turn, let me say, I know there are things in this world that I cannot fix, that we cannot fix. Things which are unfair, which I cannot right, no matter how desperately I really want to, and no matter how much it pains me that I can't. No matter how many years I spend crying out, I can't fix everything. But this is in our power. It is our choice, whether we do so or not. It is only through radical systemic change The continuous redistribution of wealth, direct empowerment of people, bottom-up economics, the prioritization of the needs of the people above profits, that we can end hunger, end involuntary homelessness, and address the issues of health. Addressing hunger means we first must ensure everyone has the means to acquire the substance they require, but also stop prioritizing the profits of businesses over this right. Stopping farmers being shortchanged and everyone from being overcharged. Addressing the issues of housing. Solving this issue is not just about building more, it's about changing how we view it. No longer treating it like an asset, but a right. If our system says that a nurse cannot afford to live, it is our system that is wrong, not the nurse. We need a policy of housing first, of intervention and control. Addressing our issues of health. It is not just about investing more, and we should and we need to invest more. It is about changing how we approach it again. Building a genuine system of social care, of preventative healthcare, of preventative medicine. That is what we should do. Here the opposition might say, but charity, effective ultron, these things, they can help, they can solve. In response, I don't think we should leave a person's rights to really be dependent upon the whims and fancies of the rich. We should instead have a system in which these rights are made reality, embedded, protected, and advanced. It is only through radical systemic change that we can keep our country united as one and democracy to flourish. This term, this House voted in favour of Scottish independence. We have lost our purpose as a country, our reason to exist as a united entity. It is insufficient to say that something existed before, then it should still be. We must have a purpose as a society, a mission that unites us. We are fragmented and polarized because we do not know what binds us together or why we are. The pursuit of a fair society, of true liberty for all, this is the unifying force that can bind us together. If you wish for our United Kingdom to remain, then you need a radical systemic change and the mission of pursuing a better present and a better future for all. Not just yet. If the government is to govern and continue to govern for the good of the entire society, to stop disenfranchisement through fear and desperation, then we need this change. We need to recognize that political equality, the foundation of democracy, must come first. Markets and their winners cannot be permitted to rule if democracy is to prevail. For the concentration of wealth does and will lead to the concentrations of political power and these people to serve their own interests. Democracy requires explicit efforts to empower people and a system that addresses social and economic inequalities that compromise political equality. We need a system that is for the people and by the people. It is through radical systemic change that we can build a more sustainable and prosperous and innovative future. As the Nobel Prize-winning economist Joseph Stiglitz outlined, the redistribution of wealth reduces unemployment and drives economic growth. In a fair society, not only will prosperity be more sustainable and widespread, but we will be more prosperous because it is more sustainable and widespread. Yes.
How do you make sure that we don't eat through what we have right now and don't stop investing into the future? We have many societies revolving around this egalitarian principle in Cuba, in former Eastern Europe, that did not thrive for decades.
So how do we keep the investment in our society? By allowing for progressive taxation of wealth, inheritance, and income, we can invest in our services. Part of the systemic change that I want to see, which I think this House and this country needs, is one which ensures long-term investment in things like empowering people to take risks. And I'll come on to that in just a second. Not just yet. We'll be more prosperous because more people will be able to contribute more. It is human nature to experiment, to push the boundaries of knowledge and capability, to innovate. Now imagine if more people were better placed to do it. In a society that supports them, in a system that reduces risk for them and for their families, where they need not live in fear about the future failure that might impede their children's hopes and dreams, where people have the means to experiment and take risks. That's what makes for an innovative society. I'm going to carry on for a little bit, though. I appreciate it, Harry. It was Francis Bacon who said, "In this theatre of man's life, it is reserved only for God and angels to be onlookers." It is not only a choice whether we fix that which is wrong, to make right that which is unfair, to bring about a better future for everyone. It is a duty. It is time for us to build a fair society, one in which all people have the freedom from and the freedom to do, as a right, not a privilege. To do this, we must ensure the continuous redistribution of wealth, start placing the needs of people before profits, and see that a prosperous, healthier future for all comes from the bottom up. This is the tide that will raise all boats. Max, I'll take you.
You're saying slogans right now. What's your manifesto? You already have like nice ideas. What are you saying is in your 10-point manifesto?
I think a 10-point plan, I think you know, is foolhardy and simplistic. What I have outlined is the fact we do need universal basic income, we need universal inheritance, we need a housing first policy rather than treating like an asset that allows people to have second, third homes while people are going tired and cold in the streets. We need a progressive taxation system, not just on income, but upon wealth and inheritance to enable us to fund these things. We need to invest more in our education, make it free for everyone, allow education so it doesn't matter if you're born in the north or the south or the east or the west, but actually you are a child of this country, born here. It is our duty and our right as a society that you have every opportunity that everyone else has. That is the manifesto. The opposition might turn around and say tonight, we just need to go back. We had that before, let's go back. No. No. We have not come to terms with the fact that if we are to live in a society where the poor are not punished for being poor, then we have to take action beyond what was done 100 years ago. If we are to live in a society where liberty is a reality for all, then we cannot go backwards. Forwards, unrelentingly onwards is the only way we can go. We cannot wait for the gradual course of time. We cannot waste our moments saying tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. We must say now is the time, that the people cannot wait, that they should not have to wait. They might say, be realistic, be practical. I say it is they who are living in a fantasy land. If they do not believe it is in our power to right these wrongs, I say to those of little faith that the world is built upon what the naysayers of yesteryear said to be impossible. Do not resign yourselves to drown just because they say the shore is too far away. No. We tonight have an opportunity to set ourselves an almighty challenge, to build a system and a society that is fair and just, to bring about radical systemic change. This path will be hard. Sacrifices will be necessary and mistakes will be made. But we will choose this path because that is who we are. We will not do so because it is easy, but because it is right. It is time to say that we do not accept a world where children go hungry, people live in squalor and poverty, lives determined by circumstances of birth rather than the choices made. We do not accept that the world has to be this way, that this world, these islands, belong to us, all of us. No, I'm about to conclude. Tonight, I'm asking this house and those in every household on these isles to dare to dream again, to dare to believe in what our country and we as a people can be, what we will be, what we must be. And we will rise, as we have before, to bend the arc of history. Thank you very much.
Order. Order. Thank you, Chris, for that impassioned speech.